Good afternoon. My name is Del Rodriguez, and this is a very special episode of Flabonga Month of the Cube. With me today, I've got Tom. No last name, just Tom. I think you did this last time, Tom. Like you didn't put your full name on. You trying to hide from the feds, Tom?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, no comment. Is that what I meant to say? No comment.
You can say whatever
Yeah.
you want, bro.
I don't know. I always that feels too formal. And also, you put my last name in the post, right? So
I am listening to you. I'm also. Can you hear me typing, by the way?
no, I can't hear you typing. Oh, there I am. Hey, hello.
There he is. So what we discovered before we went live is that Tom, aka Thomas Johnson, the third or fourth, I don't know, types like the Incredible Hulk. Like he was mashing up the keys, bruv.
Yes, I don't know what it is. I just have like, I think because sometimes the tips of my fingers are a little bit like wider, so I like slam it down. And I always feel like when I'm typing, it's a race against no one. So I try and type as quick as I can as well.
Do you know what? For the audience, can you actually do a little bit of typey type? Just so they can compare how loud your voice is compared to how hench your fingers are.
Also, but context, the microphone is off the laptop, so you're closer.
Look, Thomas, we don't want excuses. We want results. Furious. Like anyone who had the sound up right now, that really hurt their ears. That was.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. That was at least 2 or 3 times louder than your voice.
Yeah, but the microphone's in the laptop, and I'm kind of talking at the microphone with a bit of a distance. I'm pretty sure if I came like closer here, that would get louder, no?
Yeah. That's nice. Let's do that again. Let's look closer.
Whoa, that's really close, isn't it?
You have lovely eyes, Tom. Lovely eyes.
Oh, thanks, mate.
Yeah. I mean, they're looking a bit tired, but nonetheless.
Amazing. Thanks.
Why so tired, Tom? Why so tired?
I would say working, but it's because I got Hogwarts Legacy on Switch recently. I've been playing that like till early hours of the morning. It's such a good game.
I've never played it, but it's like Grand Theft Auto but Hogwarts.
Kind of, yeah. I just like I'll be walking around, giant spider, bosh, hit it with the old Wingardium Leviosa, followed by a stupefy. You know.
I can't remember what stupefy means. I know Wingardium Leviosa is the floaty one. What stupefy mean again?
Stupefy is just like a hit, like stuns people, but it's so good because you can you fight someone and you have like 4 spells that you can cast. They have to recharge, but you have like 4 spells you can cast one after the other. So you can literally like hit some, and then you have your basic cast, you can just unlimited. So you can hit somebody, like hit them like 3 times, then like use Wingardium Leviosa to lift them up, hit them 3 times again. Then you've got Accio, and it brings them close to you. Hit them like 3 times, and then finish them off with like you'll have like a spell that like Depluso or I don't know what the other one is, like just some fire one, and just blitz them. It's brilliant. And I'm just going around like terrorizing spiders and wolves.
I had no idea you're such a Harry Potter nerd.
I'm not. I just love the game.
Like you're saying it like you know all the spells and stuff.
Oh, just because the guy says it every time he.
Got it. Okay. We should talk about business, shouldn't we? Since this is a LinkedIn-based live stream.
Do you want to do some business
with you?
Have you not seen the video?
What kind of business are you offering, baby?
Have you ever seen the video where the lady goes up to the couch and goes, "You want to do some business?"
No, what are you talking about? What's...
Go, when you get a chance, head over to your friendly YouTube and say, "Want to do some business video?" And it is the funniest video in the world.
I'm making notes, by the way. That's why I'm looking away. Bussiness.
It's jokes.
I want to do some bussiness video on YouTube.
But every time someone says, "Oh, should we talk about business?" or do you want, like use the word business, in my head that video comes to mind every time without fail. Because I'm a mature adult.
Yeah, we're both grown-ups for sure. I mean, real grown-ups don't call themselves grown-ups; they call themselves adults. But yeah. Okay, so I got a question for you. Your profile picture on LinkedIn doesn't look like you.
Yeah.
Why is this?
Because I think in that profile picture, I'm about 12 stone, and currently I'm about 16 and a half.
Do you prefer being bigger or smaller?
Well, when I was 12 stone, I was a lot more athletic, so I prefer being athletic. But I just don't have any recent headshots of me. And also, I think it's like couple of years
Hold
old.
tight. I got your back, bro. Let me just do print screen. Boom. There we go. We'll crop this, and that can be your profile pic. Hold tight.
Beautiful. I think profile pic kind of looks like me now.
Sorry?
My profile picture kind of looks like me now.
I mean, not really.
Yeah, big time. There's no facial hair, but
And the
I'm a
facial hair
little
does
bit
suit you,
younger.
by the way.
Oh, which goes. I just don't have a up-to-date headshot. I should probably resolve that, but I think that is passable.
I mean, all you need to do is literally get your phone and a selfie stick and just. I feel like today's going to be a silly episode. Like, I'm feeling silly. Are you feeling silly?
Maybe a little bit.
The power of silence.
Do you remember last time? It was like the first one we ever did, and I had no idea. And you were just like, I was like, "Is there a I was like looking at the Wi-Fi route. I was like, "Is there? Am I broken?" But no.
You're the only person I can do this with, by the way. Other people start freaking out. They feel like they've got to fill the space. You have to fill the space. Let the space fill you. Get more clients weekly tips. Let's have that little look. That's a link on your LinkedIn profile. Hi, I'm Tom, and twice a week I'll deliver an email to your inbox that will help move your business forward, covering sales, marketing, and lead generation. Okay. So if I fill this out, will you start doing some emails for me?
Monday and Friday in your
How
inbox.
How much do these emails cost me? Like,
It's free.
what?
It's a little known thing called lead nurturing. So
Okay. What's lead
in fact, I did a post about this today. My most recent post bombed. Well, I did not perform very well at all. I think it's kind of like it's like
how do you define bombed? Like, what number was it? Because some people were like, I get 1 million views, and like, I get 10, so 10's good for me.
I'd say kind of like anything under like 2,500 impressions and like 1,500 members reached. I don't really care too much about engagement because every single one of my clients that I've spoken to rarely engages with my stuff. They just take action. Like a lot of people that actually engage with the things that I do are friends, are people that I know. So I'm more focused on the impressions and the members reached because the impressions, obviously, that's probably me looking at the post, making sure it's all okay.
Yeah.
People going back as well because people like. In fact, I had a meeting today at 11. That's really long. But the meeting we were talking about, it's an app partner, amazing reporting tool, and they were talking about how do they they're looking at new business. Reveal. Amazing. Any report. Like brilliant. And Mark said, "Oh, I read this post about doing, and we're doing this thing," and it was my post. Yeah, I don't think Mark's interacted with it, but he's obviously, he's a friend. But yeah, that's a really good tool, by the way. They just started integrating with Zero now. They build kind of any report that you need, and I think they do a lot of stuff direct to business. But I think the accountant element, one of the challenges that I know my clients, I don't know about other firms, is trying to, like this whole, add value to clients, do reports, do that sort of stuff. It's great. And it's great for the top 1% to 5%, but it's not scalable for the rest of your audience. And I don't think a lot of app partners necessarily understand that bit. Like if, for example, you've got somebody that could do with the services, but maybe can't afford the full price tag, but you kind of want to give them that, or you want to give it to more people, trying to do some of these reports and trying to scale that more in-depth service is really, really difficult because it requires a lot of like man, woman, daytime. And this tool basically, bosh, straight.
All right. I try not to do this, but I need to do this for frame of reference and verbal processing. I'm going to use other apps comparison just so I can understand the frame we're talking about. Is it similar to Clarity, Fathom, Futurely, Fluidly? In terms, you said reporting. Like, what reports are we doing?
Yeah, so a lot of the stuff is like not so much around. Again, I don't know a huge amount of product myself. I literally just had a conversation with Mark because we catch up with a virtual coffee every now and then. But from what I understand, you're not necessarily looking 100% into like the forecasting and that element. You're looking at like the data that a sales manager might use or that somebody would use about their company to make an informed decision. Yes, they have a cash flow element, but you're looking at like trends, like what products are selling the most, what I'm struggling there. But yeah, like more kind of like financial reports to the different business stakeholders so they can make informed decisions. It's not just about like the forecasting or that sort of business. But again, my knowledge is slightly limited. I think probably the best way to describe it would be it's kind of like any report you want, but they're creating powerful dashboards that enable you to like analyze your business better. So rather than just looking at kind of like, hey, here's a cash flow report, these things what you need to do, you're creating kind of like custom dashboards for what that business needs so they can make better informed decisions. And then they have like extra reports.
So what's it called again? Sorry.
Rouville.
How do you spell it?
Roveel.
Roveal. Roveel.
Yeah.
I want to see if LinkedIn will let me comment. It does let me comment finally.
But they'll do like one. I remember today looking at one of the reports, and like one of the products, one of the reports was like a product analysis report, stuff like that, which might take a lot of time to kind of consolidate lots of different data points into and refresh and keep up to date. They kind of automate that process, and I think what I'm trying to say there is if you've got some of the firms I work with they're not just looking at cash flow. They're not just looking at kind of like how do we find that like increase the financial operations, how do we help this business scale in different elements of their firm, and that building and comprising all of those reports and all of that data takes time. That's not scalable. That's kind of where they're coming in to maybe make that a little bit more scalable.
Okay, that sounds pretty dope. I'll check it out. Thank you for the recommendation.
Yeah, I mean, Mark's a great guy. He's an accountant. He's a friend. He's
Mark who?
Mark Donaldson. I'm gonna say Donaldson. Can you imagine if I got that wrong? That'd be so embarrassing.
Not really embarrassing. So we need to go back several steps. Yeah. The other day, I was on a live stream with James Sundin, Jim Bob, and you commented, thank you, and you seemed involved, and then suddenly it was frantically googling lists, and then you never came back to us.
Yes,
you left us hanging. What?
Well, it was a joke because you were saying that you couldn't do something, and I was like, "Hey, Dad, why don't you borrow some of my excuses?" Jokingly saying that I had a list, and you guys just did not pick up on it, and I couldn't be bothered to go through the whole
explaining the joke. Yeah, okay, thank you.
Because jokes are funny when they're explained, but I was a bit
sorry. Yes, because James was trying to call me out onto the basketball courts, and I was making excuses, and you said, "Right, thank you for explaining that." I'm sorry that I didn't get your joke, by the way.
It's absolutely fine. Most people don't.
Yeah, but usually you're pretty funny. Usually, like I was a.
Oh, thanks. That sounds really insincere. Oh yeah, thanks. I meant that. That was.
I also sounded kind of sarcastic, so swings and roundabouts.
Together, we kind of make one person.
Yeah. Where's that phrase come from? Swings and roundabouts. Like we all know what it means because it's an idiom, but like if you just try and translate that to like a German or a French person, they'll be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" That's what I love about idioms. They make no sense. A colloquial metaphor.
Yeah, don't know. There's some answer somewhere.
Right. Last time we spoke, you'd only kind of just like a month before started your business, right?
No, a month before that. Your the episode that we did, that was kind of like my unofficial launch party. That was pretty much like the day I came out to everyone.
How dare you use my platform to increase your reach? Joke's on you, only get 5 people watching this, so.
Hi, Mum.
Exactly. So, how's business going?
A lot better than I thought it would be. I have made so many mistakes, and I have also done some stuff that is great. I sent an email out not too long ago, and I called everyone Darren. These things happen.
Does he use a mass mailing system or just?
Yeah, just I'm just an idiot. Not much more than that. I
To be fair,
realized so.
I've heard worse. I've heard of someone getting the G and the T mixed up in kind regards.
Okay, nice. That's good. I might try that. Guerrilla marketing. Yeah.
Very polarizing.
Do you know what I mean? It was interesting because when I first started, I was like, right, I'm going to teach accountants how to do lead generation because I think you've got like marketing and people that are amazing at marketing and growth hacking. You've got people that are sales and are amazing at sales. Accountants tend to like try and do all of it, and actually, they don't necessarily have a problem converting. At least a lot of people I work with don't have a problem converting clients.
Mm-hmm.
The problem they have is getting enough clients in the first place, and it's really, really difficult to teach somebody how to understand lots of different marketing principles, how like different digital marketing experts. Like it's a lot of time, and actually there's so many quick wins that people can do now that are going to help them long term. And I was like, oh, I can start by teaching people just some of the basic stuff that's going to help them. And I quickly realized that no one wants to be taught. Accountants don't have time for that. They just want someone to come and do it and slowly teach them as they're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of like after like a half a month or so, I flipped the business around and was like, actually, I'm going to start doing this. But I'd already made the decision that I was going to run a 28-day coaching course. So I spent thousands on this course, marketing it. I put it in the XU magazine, and I got a fair amount of people like purchase it. But it was interesting because I was like, actually, do you know what? People don't really necessarily like. Most people get taught one thing and they remember half of it and never really take the action. And actually, I have such a better impact on people by going, this is what we're going to do for your business. This is why we're going to do this for your business. And this is the things I need from you. And by getting them, a lot of them now, if they ever listen to this, the idea is that I slowly get them to do things themselves to the point where they no longer need me and they can either bring someone in full time or they can do it themselves. That's what I want to achieve. I want to make my position at their firm redundant within kind of 6 months to 12 months. So they know what they're doing. And then when they're ready and they're at the size, that's when they probably need to bring in a full-time marketer or a full-time salesperson.
Your model sounds like a very good PT model, personal trainer model, right? A good personal trainer actually doesn't want to train with you for 5 years. They actually want to give you the correct tools and technique. And if you're new to exercise, motivate you or make you accountable, but then you've got the habits and tools to do it yourself. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, and I mean, I used to be a personal trainer, so it's probably why I've reflected that model without even realizing.
That's what I was thinking. I was going to ask you a question, but I'm not going to lie, I was not actively listening. That's on me. So I've forgotten what the question was. I'm very sorry. The question was a simplification. So would you say that your model switched from coaching training to being more of a fractional CRO or outsourced sales function?
Yeah, kind of like outsourced business development.
Yeah, making them sales.
Yeah, it's kind of like I don't profess to say I am the greatest marketer in the world. I'm not at all. And I don't profess to be the most amazing salesperson. But what I tend to be very good at is driving a lot of traction awareness and a lot of opportunity to businesses. That's kind of where I've found my own niche. And a lot of the stuff is so simple. Like one of the biggest things, and if you're an accountant right now and you're watching this, you're like, oh, I don't know, like I need new business or I need this, I need that. Most people are always looking for new business, and people rarely look at their existing clients. Like, out of your existing clients, who is being underserved? Who needs more services? Out of your current clients, who are more likely to refer to you? Can you put the idea of referrals into their brain so that somebody refers every quarter now refers every month? And actually, you can maximize that so much, and that's incredibly easy to do. You can just increase your touch points, and like step one, look at all of your clients and mark them, give them 2 scores, right? Give them 2 scores. One score is their referral status. How good are they referring? A, B, C, or D? A, they're brilliant referrers. B, they need a little bit of work to become A's. C, not really anything there, but you feel like they've got the appetite for it. And D, they're just no chance. Do the same with the people that are your your service score. Are they the top? They have the top service. Are they brilliant clients? Great. They're your A's. They're the people that you do case studies with, the people that you do content with. B's, maybe they've got this service here, but they need these few things. Start talking to them about that. C's, again, they need a little bit more work or they're growing. And your D's, you just know that they're kind of once a year or there's no real investment. The D's, park them, put them in general marketing. Don't really focus too much on them. Just chat to them. Then you want to focus on your C's, B's, and A's. So your A's are the people that, if, for example, I was hosting an event and I wanted more referrals from that event, I would make sure I got 1 or 2 of my A clients in there who love talking, who love referring about me. And then I'd invite all of the B's in there and I just let them talk. And I might have 1 or 2 things about referrals. And then I'd follow up with an email that says, hey, thanks for coming. By the way, this is our new referral incentive. And you will see that impact that will make. Again, with your service offering, call your clients up and be like, call all of your B's and go, hey, we want to do a service review. It's different to a price review. The service review is about, we feel, based on the data we know about you and about our other clients, that we can do more for you and we want to talk to you about that. Who's not going to want to have that conversation? Probably your D's, but not your B's. And that's like some simple stuff that will increase revenue and get you more referrals that you can do kind of like straight away.
That is very wisdomous.
Thanks.
That was good stuff. I'm going to edit this later and chop that into little pieces and make little shorts out.
This is just stuff that I've done with my current clients. Like, it's, you've got all the theory and all the sort of stuff, but I can tell you now, building a community amongst your current clients and regularly speaking to them about the service you offer them will get you more revenue.
Yeah, and we will have more revenue.
Big time.
More money, more bitches. The following question is inspired / quoted from the great Marcus Batson. If money were no object, what would your dream vehicle or car be?
Oof. It would probably be have you seen Gone in 60 Seconds with Nicolas Cage?
I have seen Gone in 60 Seconds.
You know, like the 1916 Shelby Mustang gunmetal grey with the black straw? That's the car I'd have.
Yeah. Shelby Mustang Cobra. Yeah, okay. That's cool. That's pretty cool. Any particular reason or just it catches your eye?
I think it catch my eye. When I was younger, I think I got bought like one of these like make your own cars, and that was the car that I made. And it's just, I think, imprinted on me as a young person, and I've just taken that with me. It's just, yeah, I'm also not like a car person. I'm the worst with cars. Like I really don't care. I currently drive a Fiat 500 that belongs to my partner. I am not fazed by the car I drive as long as it gets me from A to B. But that one car I would drive, and I remember I was in Auckland and I saw somebody with it, and I was like, "Oh my god, it looks so cool and it sounds so cool."
Did you get a chance to speak to that person, or were they rooming by?
No, they were zooming off into the distance.
Oh, bad times, bad times. I can kind of relate, by the way, because I asked myself that question in my head as you were answering, and I was like, you know what? It would be a Ferrari F40, and I realized that's the car that when like late 80s, early 90s was one of the supercars or hypercars, and I had a picture of it, and I had a model kit, and I made it. So yeah, Ferrari F40, it'd be dope.
So if there's anyone out there listening, got a bit of spare change,
wants to buy you a Shelby Cobra Mustang, Shelby Cobra, and wants to buy me a Ferrari F40. Would it be funny if that actually happened?
It was such a great story.
Do you not really suck if we were American? Like, did you know America, they have to pay tax on winnings?
I did not know that. I remember seeing something about if you win the lottery, it's great, but you get taxed. But I didn't know the full extent.
They get taxed on all their winnings. So, like, you know, back in the day, like game shows would be like, you won this sports boat, right, which could be worth like 70 grand. They'd get taxed on that.
Wow.
So often that's why they have to ask for a cash equivalent, because if they get it, they can't afford the tax on it. I know. Like, America's a great country, but that's pretty silly.
I've often wondered this in game shows in general. You know, like sometimes it's like, win this £1 million house. If you haven't got the money to pay, you know, the council tax or anything like that, how are you going to afford to have that house? Because as long as it's in your name, you're going to be liable for those payments. So You could win this thing with no extra money and be like, how do I pay for it? Obviously, the idea is, I'm going to sell it, but
Yeah.
if you're selling like a £1 million house, that's not going to happen overnight. That's going to take time.
No. Yep.
Yeah.
Council tax, and if you're going to live in it, heating it. Like if it's a 6-bedroom house, most of us can barely afford to heat our 2-bedroom flats, let alone a 6-bedroom house. You know what I mean?
But yeah, it's something I've always pondered. I guess
got
if you
to think
don't live in the house and you leave it and you don't touch it and it's just there, you might be okay. But yeah, it's those little costs that.
It depends though, because like, if you're renting, right? Let's be honest, rent is ridiculous at the moment. So if you're paying like what £2,000 a month in rent, and you no longer have a mortgage or rent to pay, let's be honest, the cost of living in a 6-bedroom house to heat it and council tax isn't going to be £2,000 a month, is it? It's going to be less than that. It's going to be less than that. It's got to be less than that. There's no way you're going to spend that much in utilities.
I don't know. The big house.
Because mortgages and rent are the things that cost us so much money. For the average working person, they're the thing that cost us so much.
I wonder what
if none of us had rent, we'd have so much disposable income.
I wonder what. Let's have a look. I'm typing again.
I can hear. We can all hear, Thomas. We can all hear.
Let's have a look.
And obviously, I was teasing before. I'm well aware that the microphone is on the laptop, hence why it's so freaking loud.
Okay.
Are you googling average rent in the UK?
Okay, so I'm looking right now. I'm looking right now. I don't really know much about the band, but there's a house that I know the postcode of that is worth 1.2 million, and that's got 5 bedrooms. I'm going to say band A, the council tax alone monthly. Monthly. I don't know if this is monthly or if this is annually. Let's have a look. Band A is £1,518. Band H is £4,552.
I feel like that's annual.
Yeah, I mean it says 24.
Sure
it says see how much the local authorities charge in each band. I guess that must be the annual cost.
Mm-hmm. I take it you don't pay council tax at the moment.
No, not at the moment.
No, I'm pretty sure that's an annual figure.
I would assume so, but I'd hope it's not monthly.
So,
I can imagine you spend 40 grand.
Divide that $4.5 grand by 12.
300
so it's not actually compared to the $2 grand you'd be paying on rent. Yeah, like you're still better off. But I understand what you mean. The upkeep of a larger property would be really expensive. Correct. So pessimistic, Tom.
Or am I taking a realistic approach?
I mean, you're not living up to the hype I gave you.
You did give me such a big hype. I was well chuffed. I was like, Sinead, look at this. I was well chuffed. No,
I said some nice things about you.
I know. I was really chuffed. It's crazy what a tenner will buy you.
My loyalty is much cheaper than that. Just give me like a Snickers bar. We're good.
Oh yeah, Sinead, my partner, she works at this cafe. She works at this cafe called Black Goo. It's incredible, but they do like
Black Goo.
Yes, and they do this Snickers like cake. The thing is like massive. It's huge, and it is just like a Snickers inspired and taste across like this huge cake. Oh, it's incredible. But like they're one of these places where everything is done massively, but it's not massively expensive. Like I'm sure you would have seen on Instagram, TikTok, whatever, where it's like, oh, come and eat this cake, and the cake's like the size of a child's head. Like it's stuff like that. It's crazy. But yeah, they do. One of their top sellers is like a Snickers inspired, I'm going to say cake biscuit ensemble. I just see how dare you, sales guru / wizard.
Yeah, I didn't want to be too arrogant with it. Hold up, let's enhance the title.
So if I'm a demigod, does that mean that one of my parents isn't a god and one of them must be a god?
Correct. You can choose if it's your mum or dad. Which one do you think it would be?
That's really my parents are really interesting because my mum is like, so my mum ran her own business, her own bridal business, and she is like, let's take a gamble, let's go for it. And my dad is the other side. He is like, okay, like what's if everything hit the fan, what's our backup plan? And they have these contrasting personalities and they're brilliant. And like at the age of 60, give or take, I don't know, 50. Yeah, at the age of about 50. So they had a shop in Milton Keynes. The rent was like nothing. It was cheaper than the council tax I quoted. It was nothing because it was on an old legacy plan, but there was no footfall. And in 2008, obviously, we had the financial crash, weddings, that industry was rubbish, but also you had a surge of the online market. So they were really struggling. And at the age of like mid 50s, they packed it all up. I went to university and I got a text like, we live in Brighton now. They opened a shop in Brighton. There, I think it was like $2,000. How much? I think it was like.
Did they tell you, or did they just tell you we've moved? By the way,
Yeah, it's a surprise.
Did they give you a heads up?
Yeah, I moved out at 18 and I've never lived with my parents ever since. And
okay,
I think my mum's rent was like, it was something crazy, like £2,000 a quarter. And they went from that to Brighton, where it was like £24,000 every 6 months, so 50 grand, which is a huge jump. And they then had to like, the way that they were going to afford to like pay and cover all the costs is, and maybe a little bit bad, is they bought all of this stock with one of their manufacturers. They whacked it all on a credit, like all on the credit card, paid all the stock, they made the massive order that through the supplier and they had to sell all of the stock, otherwise they wouldn't be able to afford living in Brighton. And they managed to sell all of the stock that then they used that money to cover themselves for the first 3 months. And basically they said to the supplier, look, we can't afford to pay you all back. Can we pay you in monthly installments? This is what it looks like. They worked out, but they had to. It all depended. Their success all depended on this trade show in Birmingham that they sold all their stock to make the right amount of money based on my dad's calculations. And I think on the last day, they were like $5,000 under, and they managed just like before at the end of the show. I think somebody basically put like a wedding order in that covered them. Otherwise, at that point, they were kind of like $5,000 short, and they're thinking, where are we going to get this money from? They did it, got a better accountant, and then started looking more at their cash, like their real-time cash positions, what products sell, what products didn't sell. And it was one of the most profitable things that they've ever done. And it's been really good for them and successful. They took a 2-year, like just after COVID, they took like a year, 2 years of just kind of like a semi-retirement almost. And it all came off like they're in mid-50s when most people are sitting down ready to like, okay, we don't want to go hard. They were like, right, we're going to go for this. And my dad has this innate ability to take a job and he never wants to work. He's like, I don't want to work. I just want to relax, have a nice life. And at one point, he was the deputy operations manager for Brighton's NHS, which is one of the most oversubscribed NHS centres. And he was like, I don't know why I'm dealing with all the stress. I don't want to do it. But he's because he has the way of looking at things. He's always looking at what's like, if everything goes wrong, what are we going to do? And then build from there so that you always have something. And then you can just kind of slowly progress. And my mum is the other side. She's like, let's buy all the stock. Let's see what happens. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And that is that. Yeah. And that's, so I don't know which one's a god, but yeah, their personalities are brilliant.
No, they both sound like G's for sure. And thank you for that insight on your personal life, because that speaks volumes to your personality and how you work. Now you explain, I'm like, I see where he gets that from. You seem like a good mix of the both.
Yeah, probably. And I like I worked at Iwaka, right?
That's wild.
But it's also like
That's a wild story. Thank you for sharing.
It helps me like when I was at Iwaka and Iwaka released Iwaka Pay. I got so much invested into it because they were trying to solve the problem of people not getting paid on time. My mum would do orders for people. People wouldn't pay her on time. Like that's a massive issue for her. And I've seen that firsthand. Like I remember coming up to Christmas and people haven't paid my mum. She's like stressing out. I'm like, okay, as a 12-year-old, like how do I deal with that? So when Iwaka Pay was like, right, this is the thing that we've got, I just connected with it. And it's because of that exposure and being heavily invested in my parents' business, being like I go to national exhibitions was like 10, 12, 13, stand at trade shows. And I like I helped bots for that digital accountancy show, and I was so particular on how the stand would work because for all of my early years, up until kind of like the age of like 17, 18, before I went to university, I've been helping my parents out with trade shows and exhibitions. And one of the things my mum always used to say to me was never have anything on a boundary of your stand, because what will happen is people will stand behind that boundary and the staff will stand behind that boundary. You never get full engagement.
Correct.
What you want to do is you want to put it just in, so people have to kind of come into the center. Once you get people in there, and also you have people that are on the perimeter and they bring people into the center of the stand, your stand looks so much more busier. It engages a lot more people. And I don't know if you saw the bots for that stand during Dad's, but it's packed both days. And it's just those principles that I've had exposure to as a result of like growing up in a small business. So yeah, like it means that when I was talking to accounts about different things, I'm like 100% invested because I know the impact that these things make.
That's where the passion comes from. I've often wondered. You explained that kind of reminds me of Stuart Hurst. But that's his story as well. Like his dad was a small business owner, and he, as a child, saw the ups and downs of cash flow, and he realised, as he got older, it was poor accounting or poor advisory services that could have prevented, his dad's situation. So yeah, okay.
And that, like Stu and I have got, maybe we might have said the same, but Stu and I had a really good relationship, and he was actually one of like the pioneer partners on our WalkerPay and had a massive enthusiastic nature about it. And because we spent a lot of time talking about reflections of my parents' business and understanding kind of where he was as well. So we kind of like connected on that point. That's why when you see his posts and stuff, you'll see he'll talk about a WalkerPay a lot because he understands the impact that that would have had on his father's business. So you can see the impact that's going to have on other people's.
Thank you for sharing that story. Like, I know I've been quite jovial today, but that was actually a fantastic slice of insight on who you are as a person. As per usual, I've been talking a lot and asking lots of questions. It's only fair. Would you like to ask me any particular questions? I may or may not answer, or I might give a stupid answer, but feel free to run this show.
You went to the Accounting Excellence yesterday?
I did, yes.
Was there any surprise award winners to you? And why?
So, yes, they're well deserved, but I was surprised that Bishop Fleming won so many. Like, they're all deserved. They're an amazing firm. But I was like, by the third one, I was like, dang. Like, they won a lot of awards. Like, we won 2, but like, I think they did 4, which is, in 1 year, is incredible. Like, for one firm to get 4 awards. So, yeah, I was surprised they got so many, but all are well deserved. What else was there? I'm always surprised by, not the awards, the comedians they have. Like, they make jokes about stuff they probably don't know that much about. They've probably done some research to make these kind of jokes. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's no way that Rob Beckett knows much about Sage or, QuickBooks. Like, he probably has an idea, but but his jokes were actually on point and they landed very, very well. So,
wow.
Yeah. Other than that, no particular upsets or surprises. Any other questions?
Nothing that comes to mind.
Cool. Should we do a little bit of silence before we hit end stream? Would you like to hear a random intrusive thought? You and I should do a rap video.
And what we do is